the field of management is something that attracted me, inspired me. So there is an inherent power that HR
Yeah.
professionals have to unleash potential in people. Actually, it's very interesting that you bring in the aspect of happiness into workspace. Good days don't make me, bad days don't break me.
That's awesome. Thanks for joining me. And today we have in the studio with us none other than Dr. Rima Ghose Chowdhury, the President and CHRO and CSR leader at Datamatics. Dr. Rima is a bachelor in pharmaceutical technology. She also holds an MBA degree and a PhD in the leadership domain. She is trained in Gallup Strengths coaching from UK, and she has received numerous HR excellence awards, including being on the list of being listed as India's greatest CHRO 23-24 by Asia's One and 50 most influential HR tech leaders at World HRD Congress. And she joins us today on the Payal Nanjiani Leadership Podcast to talk about redefining happiness in an AI world. Rima, thank you so much for joining us. It is such an honor to have you here today.
Thank you, Payal. And it is absolutely my privilege to be here on this podcast today with you. I have gone through some of the Payal Nanjiani podcasts of past, and I have seen some very esteemed industry thought leaders have been featured in the past. And it's my absolute pleasure to join that group.
Thank you. And I must tell you, after reading your profile, I was like, wow, someone from the field of HR has gone to the extent of achieving so much through complete hard work and dedication. I mean, I'll tell you, Rima, it is completely visible on your profile. The amount of hard work that you have done, the amount of time and efforts you have put in. It's not a quick success. So tell us a little bit about your career success and your career life.
Sure. So, Payal, I started off in Calcutta, born and brought up there. Typical Bengali middle class intellectual family where, not being a doctor, engineer, IAS, and all was never an option. You had to be one of those. So I did go on to become an engineer MBA, but non-IIT, non-IIM. So,
Okay.
which means was, some of the initial hurdles of getting that opportunity,
Mhm.
some posed as a challenge. But I would say those were at the initial stages. Very soon, I saw myself traversing through different industry domains in the corporate world.
Okay.
So, really never took the easy way out of, maybe joining an organization or joining companies in the same industry. I always tried to do a shift. So, post engineering, I was on production shop floor. That was Reckitt, Ben Kaiser, Reckitt Coleman that time. And I was there manufacturing Dettol, Lysol, along with others on the shop floor. And within a year, I was very clear that the field of management is something that attracted me, inspired me, especially seeing the people there. And I went on to do my MBA in HR. Now, that stint post MBA from campus, it started with Haldia Petrochemicals, which is a company in that space,
Mhm.
chemicals. So, from there, I did not really think of getting into a company in the same space. But then I went on to join the IT enabled services space, and then it was media and entertainment, and then IT. And for 2 years, I have also done a stint as professor and HOD of HR at NL Dalmia School of Business Studies and Research. So I would say I have there's one thing that is kind of constant in my career journey, which is exploring and experimenting with new areas because learning that new business always gave me a different kind of high. And perhaps that's why I kept on exploring new industry domains. So here with data my second industry, same industry stint in a way.
Mhm.
But I absolutely love this space, and especially the opportunity to kind of, building a humane organization which is absolutely updated with the latest technology. So that space kind
Okay.
of excites me.
Wow. So from engineering to HR, I mean, that's quite a shift.
Right.
Yeah.
It is quite a shift indeed. But like I said, it's like one led to another.
Mhm.
So when the engineering thing happened and I was there on the shop floor, of course I had the other route also available to me, which is either R&D, quality control, production manager, factory manager, all those things, all those roles that were available that time. That could have been a career path. But somewhere I realized, especially looking at the kind of L&D professionals that were there or the HR folks, that there is an inherent power that HR
Yeah.
professionals have to unleash potential in people.
Hmm.
So that thing which attracted me quite a lot, and I thought that maybe that's the world that suits me more. And why don't I take a try? So I wasn't one of those who chose HR specialization because nothing else was available. In fact, I was kind of uh, struggling to make a choice. I liked marketing, could have gone there. Finance is also not bad. Systems was a very hot area that time, year 2000, Y2K, and all of that. But HR is something that I genuinely wanted to do because I felt we are already blessed and fortunate people if we get an opportunity to work in this area.
Hmm. No, I mean, I can connect with it being from the HR field myself. I can talk for hours over it, like you said. So, getting into this happiness quotient, what does happiness at work look like, or what does it mean in today's ever-changing technology world?
Actually, it's very interesting that you bring in the aspect of happiness into workspace, especially in corporate workspaces where competition, job related demands, and all of that are rife. But honestly, when we talk about happiness in this space, and if we are able to, achieve even some bit of it, we are in a much, much better position. So I'll tell you how I construe happiness. And this has a bit of a connection with a train the trainer program that one of my previous organizations, Sony, had sent me for. So
Okay.
this was in and this was there was something called the energy project where we were taught how to explore the various energy domains. So
Okay.
it's like the fundamental principle of time management, right? That we
Yeah.
only have 24 hours and we
Mhm.
need to do the best that we can do. Energy principles would say that while time is finite, energy is infinite. So how
Absolutely. Yeah.
physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual energy defines how effective you are at
Absolutely.
work, life. So I think that wisdom has always played in my mind. And I realized when you asked me about happiness, I feel when all the energy quadrants are kind of managed very peacefully,
Hmm.
which means something which is an all encompassing thing, which has got physical fitness, which has got mental peace, which has got us, something which tells
Hmm.
us that yes, we have the ability to do all that I want to do without any restrictions, any binding authorities, or anything. That freedom of mind, that space,
Hmm.
that connection with yourself. Are we valued, appreciated at work, in life, in our family, within friends? So, when all of these quadrants, energy quadrants come together, I feel, happiness is much easier to attain.
Oh, I think that's so wonderfully put, Rima. In fact, even I say something which is like it's not about time management, it's about energy management that actually leads to higher productivity at work. So, since you also believe in this and you put it so well as per the four quadrants, how do you practice this? How are you? I mean, I have spoken to you earlier also. I've always found you very cheerful. How do you maintain these four quadrants in your own personal life?
So I think one fundamental principle that I follow, being a busy professional, which we all are, and someone who has a 18-year-old daughter,
Mhm.
and of course, and a mother-in-law at home, my father at home. So with all these constituencies that I cater to, it's important that I try to find that sense of balance. So
Mhm.
what has for me, Payal, to have that sense of calm and peace and cheer within myself, and probably some of it reflects externally also, is because I try to integrate my work with my fun space. So I wouldn't call it work-life balance. I wouldn't call it work-life balance because at some point in time, our work identity totally gets linked to our life.
Yeah.
If somebody asks, who are you, who am I, probably the first thing that will come out is, I am a professional into so and so field, working with so and so
True.
company, delivering.
Yeah.
So that's how we tend to speak. So it has gotten integrated totally. So I just ensure that I'm able to um, uh, put or provide due priorities to
Mm.
each and every area. So I'll give you an example, Payal, that the ability to do what I want to do and just take a decision and move on. So sometime in June, when we were discussing about this podcast, and I remember I was in the midst of very heavy
Yeah.
travels.
Uh-huh.
Before, almost month-long travel was to get initiated on 18th of June. So just 2 days back, I had the weekend. So anybody, probably most people would spend that weekend either to pack or to devote to
Yeah.
personal.
Yeah.
What I chose to do, I chose to be in IIT Bombay from morning 9 till night 9, Saturday, Sunday, both days locked up, going through all the fundamentals and things related to artificial intelligence, doing things myself along with a cohort of 150
Wow.
odd people,
Mm.
because I felt that that self upgradation is so important for me.
Mm.
While I can always have all the support of teams and technology and everything, but for me to be on top of something, to be in control of something, to have a better grasp on something is very important. So I know that after I go back, after that Sunday evening is done, maybe Sunday night I will catch a movie with family,
Mm.
and then Monday be office. So I would ensure that my self upgradation, which is the learning part, my movie watching, my office work, and my business travel, all of it is kind of integrated seamlessly.
Wow. I mean, that is so good. And I agree to what you said that most of us, we would dedicate that weekend towards packing or other things, but you devoted it in ways that makes your energy really increase that frequency. So I think that is so well put. But in this age of technology, and especially where AI is dominating every field of ours, do you think our happiness overall, even at work, is it really now diminishing, or is it something that AI is helping us to enhance? What is AI's role in this now?
Honestly, I think there's a lot that depends on the individual here. There will always be industry trends. There have always been industry trends. If you look at the how the industrial transformation has been, right from right till the time we reach Industry 4.0 and the use of machine learning, IoT, AI, and all of that. So always mankind has gone through this phase where some shift, some dynamic change has always threatened
Yeah,
kind of jeopardize life in a way, but has
yeah.
carried a lot of potential. I remember when computers came in, there was so much of, protests and all of that back in Calcutta that time. and a huge consignment of computers were all lying there at a port, and people were not letting them enter the city, letting those enter the city. So there is always a threat associated, right? That
Right.
is new technology going
Going to,
to take my
yeah.
life
Hmm.
from me in a way. But the way I look at it, File, and that is something which I try to communicate in every single forum I am a part of, that we have to look at AI as an enhancer. So look
Mm.
at the quality of content, and it's a good thing that these days, whatever people come up with in written format, so many of those things improve many-fold. So, which is basically the empowerment in
Yeah.
communication, right? Is that part, that use of ChatGPT, everybody is doing that. Everybody's content for most people has become much, much better. AI can help you get rid of so many routine tasks, right? Routine scheduling, memorizing things, and all. So it's almost like, there's another person almost working for you, even if you don't have a EA to work for you. So that is
Yeah.
kind of democratization of possibilities. So it has opened up new vistas. So there are
Mm.
lots of but what we have to keep in mind that there should always be ethical guardrails. There should be a human oversight as to how technology is being used, clear communication, investment in the right kind of skills. So I think the time is this is the best time that one can think of to self invest. Investing in self has never been so important.
Mm. I
So I
agree.
AI is here as an enabler. It's all about how we look at it. Yes, routine tasks will certainly cease to exist, maybe, after some time, after some years.
Mm.
But what will up is, there will be an evolution that will happen. People will also discover newer ways of working and
Yeah.
upgrade themselves professionals overall.
Correct. But do you think, based on what you said, do you think that AI can actually manipulate or exploit our emotions? Like, for example, there was a news floating about the teenager who committed suicide purely because of, what prompts was given and the responses that AI gave, right? Now, that was an emotional state where the teenager put it up on AI and the emotional state was taken. So, do you think at times, or maybe a lot of times, AI can manipulate and exploit our emotional, state of mind?
Yes, you're right. These reports have come up. It's certainly possible because sometimes algorithms also have a mind of their own. So it is
Yeah.
certainly possible. So,
So what should we
which
do,
is
like, so that we don't get exploited?
so, first of all, I think it's important how we are using AI and for what
Hmm.
purposes. See, while we have seen AI making some rapid strides in various fields, but when it comes to some human emotions, sentiments, which typically human coaches bring
Yeah.
in, I think substitute for that. Someday, even human coaches, everybody will take the help of technology,
Hmm.
but should we get into this situation where technology had overpowered a conversation completely? And when we know that accuracy can be an issue, there are hallucinations that AI does, right? And there are companies which have even suffered for
Hmm.
that. So, how on earth would a young person be, why would that young person resort to AI for help, for coaching? I would fundamentally question that couldn't we have cultivated the network around that person
Hmm.
in a better way, a more humane way, so that whatever the person was looking for came from the human network and not from an AI agent. So in those areas, I would say creating psychologically safe spaces is something that human beings do best. And hence it's
Yeah.
important we use AI and where we don't as of now, till we know that the accuracy levels and all other guardrails are fully
Hmm.
established.
True, I agree. Otherwise, if you don't have your own boundaries also, then that also creates a huge issue. So, Rima, nowadays we are in an age of technology, AI. Everybody wants quick success. Everybody wants to grow faster. You have taken that time, you have invested your time and efforts to get to where you are. What would be your biggest piece of advice to our listeners?
Okay. So, couple of things. So, there is a quote that I write in front of me, big and bold. Good days don't make me, bad days don't break me.
Ah, that's awesome.
It's so important to acknowledge the fact that everything won't necessarily go the way we want it.
Yeah.
Um, there would be disappointments. We would have our insecurities, our issues, challenges, all of that.
Hmm.
But tomorrow is another day. So the one thing that I would tell everyone is don't give up. uh, Giving up should never be an option. So if you have not succeeded in what you wanted to do, then you are work in progress. It's all
Absolutely.
W
I think we all are continuous work in progress.
actually. Somewhere
Absolutely.
to acknowledge that maybe somewhere we are all broken, which is where
Yeah.
light comes in.
True.
So
Yeah.
if that is there in mind, we will also know that we are in that continuous evolution phase. And hard work, there's no substitute to that. I would say
Mhm.
smart work evolves later. It that you master after a
Mhm.
certain period
Mhm.
of time. But hard work is like it never fails you. So the
True.
constant need
Agreed.
to learn, upskill, should always be a very paramount need in every human being and professional.
Absolutely. So, Rima, let's move on to our next segment, which is the leadership rapid fire, where whatever comes to your mind, we would like that answer. Are you ready for that?
Okay, I'm getting a bit nervous about it, I must admit. But yeah,
Yeah,
let's go for it.
leaders don't do rapid fire unless it's something happening in their organization where they have to think quickly, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. A must-have leadership quality.
Um, Ability to influence.
Okay. What's the one thing you wish you had known when you began your career?
Failures are a part of life.
Okay. What's your personal quote or a mantra which helps you throughout the day?
Don't give up.
You just said that so well, even earlier. I'd never give up. Which superpower would you choose? Invisibility or mind reading?
Honestly, I would go for a superpower that helps me to make everyone in the world happy. These
Uh,
are two choices.
so
Then maybe
for that, what would you choose? Invisibility or mind reading? If you really had to make everybody happy and
then I guess mind reading is more logical, have the
exactly,
what we want. So
I
knowing that
yeah, you would, right? If you could change one thing about the corporate world, what would that change be that you would bring?
corporate world has it's like a maze. It has it encourages competition and sometimes in not so fair ways.
Yes.
The world is very demanding. So if probably if the pace of corporate world was a bit slower, that would have allowed many more professionals to be successful in corporate world. But even as I see this file, I also know that in this world, it's always about survival of the fittest.
Yeah.
So I guess the pace will remain where it is. But yeah, if there was a wish, then I would say slower pace would have been better.
Oh, wow. That's great. So, thank you so much, Rima. It was such an honor to have you. I know how your days are packed back to back with scheduled meetings, but you've taken the time to come and share your insights on this. So, thank you so much for coming on this podcast.
Thank you, Payal. It's my pleasure. I just loved the conversation, and I was thinking that I wish these kinds of opportunities come my way more so that I get a little bit of time to introspect, to reflect on something, and that just lights up the day in its own way. So thank you so much for inviting.
Thank you. And this one's for our listeners. This is Rima Chaudhary and Payal Nanjiani wishing you loads of success in your corporate life. God bless.